Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you something. Have you ever given a test and thought, wow, my students aced this, but they still can't actually use the language? If so, you're not alone. That's exactly what we're tackling today. Why proficiency-based assessments are not about memorization and how you can make a simple shift that gets your students actually communicating in the language, not just cramming for the test. And don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to throw out everything you're doing and start from scratch. We're talking about some quick, practical changes you can make right now that will instantly improve your assessments. Oh, and before we dive in, if you want to know where you stand when it comes to comprehensible input, check out my free CI proficiency quiz at mm.us/CI quiz. It will help you pinpoint your strengths and give you a roadmap for growth. All right, let's do this. Okay, so let's start with the big question. What even is a proficiency-based assessment? A lot of teachers hear proficiency and think, oh, that just means a harder test. Nope, not at all. The biggest difference is that proficiency-based assessments focus on what students can actually do with the language instead of just what they can memorize. Think about it. In real life, no one is going to walk up to you and ask you to conjugate a verb or define a vocabulary word in isolation. They're going to ask you for directions, invite you to lunch, or tell you about their weekend, and they need you to respond in a way that makes sense. So try this instead. First, use real world scenarios. Instead of fill in the blanks, give students a situation. You're in a cafe in Madrid and your friend is allergic to nuts. Order a safe meal for them. This forces them to apply what they know in a meaningful way. Assess listening and speaking together. Play a short clip of a real conversation and ask them to respond in their own words instead of just answering multiple choice questions. And use authentic materials. Instead of a vocabulary quiz, give them a real menu, a real social media post, or a real video in the target language and ask them to interact with it. See the pattern here? It's all about function over facts. All right, let's talk about what traditional assessments get wrong and why they lead to frustration for both you and your students. Traditional tests: memorize 20 vocabulary words, regurgitate them on a quiz, fill in the blanks with correct verb endings, translate sentences word for word. The problem? A student can get 100% on that and still not be able to hold a basic conversation. With proficiency-based assessments, can they express their own thoughts in the language? Can they understand a native speaker at a natural pace? Can they use the language creatively and appropriately? So here are 3 easy ways to make the shift. Move from recall to real communication. Instead of define this word, ask, tell me about your favorite weekend activity using at least 3 past tense verbs. Let students choose their topics. Instead of a one-size-fits-all prompt, give students choice in what they write or talk about. Passionate about music? Have them describe their favorite artist in the target language. And test multiple skills in one go. Watch a short video in the target language, write a short summary, and discuss it with a partner. Bam! You've assessed listening, writing, and speaking in one task. The goal isn't just knowing the language, it's using the language. So now that we know why proficiency-based assessments matter, let's talk about how to bring them into your classroom in a way that's easy and effective. So here are 3 classroom-ready strategies to use right away. The first, scenario-based assessments. Instead of a multiple choice test, create a real-world challenge. You're traveling to a new country. Introduce yourself and ask for a restaurant recommendation. You lost your passport. Explain the situation to the consulate. Second, peer conversations and role plays. Give students a list of conversation starters and have them talk with a partner without English. Example, what's your dream vacation? Describe your favorite meal. And then third, self-assessment and reflection. Give students a simple self-check where they rate their own comfort level with different skills. Encourage them to set personal goals based on what they feel needs improvement. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Small shifts make a huge difference. Real quick, before we move on, how confident are you in your CI teaching? If you want to see where you stand, take my CI proficiency quiz at mm.us/CI quiz. It's a super helpful way to figure out what's working and what could use some tweaking. All right, let's wrap this up. So, what did we learn today? Proficiency-based assessments measure what students can actually do, not just what they know. It's about function, not memorization. And making the switch is easier than you think. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what's one traditional test you're thinking about replacing with a proficiency based assessment. And if you want to dive even deeper, check out my next video, Revolutionize Your Language Classroom with Proficiency Based Assessment. I'll see you over there. Happy comprehensible input.